A mass shooting just feet away from Denver police guarding last night's Nuggets championship celebration. Today, the city tries to convince people that Thursday's parade will be safe. Aurora Police acknowledged that the story they told the public about a young man killed by an officer was not completely accurate. Colorado Republicans say they have a deal to prevent third-party spoiler candidates. A little digging suggests they may not have much of a deal at all. If you appreciate flexibility in your elected officials, you will love the third position that a Colorado congressman is now contorting himself into over the handling of classified documents. And the ink is just drying on the headlines about the Nuggets win, written on the bodies of some of their biggest fans. That's tonight on Next. Colorado's latest mass shooting, with all eyes on Denver for the Nuggets win last night, happened right in front of Denver police. All 10 people shot are expected to survive. Police say about half of them were innocent bystanders, people who were not involved in the drug deal police say led to that shooting. DPD came out today to say that they don't think that the shooting was associated with the championship celebrations. It just happened in the same place at the same time. It was just after midnight when at least 20 rounds were fired near 20th and Market in Lodo. That is the corner that was the epicenter of the Nuggets celebration. Police shared this surveillance video of their officers scattering when the shooting happens just feet from dozens of officers. They regroup and go after the shooters. Denver Police Chief Ron Thomas said that officers then found guns, cash, several bags of fentanyl pills in the spot where the shooting happened.
We were steps away from this incident, and so our mere presence certainly did not stop the incident from occurring. And I can't speak to why those individuals felt emboldened enough to engage in that behavior very near to where officers were gathered. But certainly, I think just illustrates the considerable challenge we have in our community.
Investigators have 2 suspects in custody. One is among the injured at the hospital. And again, all those shot are expected to survive. Denver's public safety leaders say they do not believe that the drug-related shooting last night means that there is any particular threat to Thursday's championship parade and rally. That parade will start at 10 a.m. Thursday near Union Station, end with the rally at Civic Center Park. This is the same deal, same path, same setup they used for the Avs. There will be live music and events starting at 9 a.m. at Civic Center as the crowd begins to gather there. We, of course, will carry it all live on 9 News starting at 4:30 in the morning on Thursday. I'll be reporting live from the middle of the crowd at Civic Center, so if you see a middle-aged white guy in a Nuggets t-shirt, come say hello. Aurora Police have a trust and transparency problem that's been years in the making. The department itself will admit that much. And they also now admit that the story that they told the public about a police shooting, the one that killed a 14-year-old boy, the fact that he had a semi-automatic handgun, not a fact, wasn't true. It was a pellet gun. Let's bring in Mark Salinger, who's been sorting out the timeline, Mark, of what Aurora Police knew about this when, what they told the public, as well as what they told the 14-year-old's family.
Yeah, that press release on June 1st that announced all of this says Aurora officers killed a suspect who was, quote, armed with a firearm. We now know that for nearly a week, Chief Art Acevedo was publicly telling people at meetings that 14-year-old Jordell Richardson had a semi-automatic weapon when he was shot and killed by police after robbing a convenience store. Then the story changed completely. Communications team at Aurora Police won't answer our questions, but Chief Acevedo will respond to our tweets on his personal account. He said he only found out that Jordell was carrying a pellet gun, you see it there on your screen, on June 8th before a press conference. That's what the pellet gun looked like you just saw. The Aurora Sentinel spoke with Acevedo last night after a city council meeting. He told them it was a communications issue within the department and that the only reason he found out it was actually a pellet gun is because he asked. From press conferences to community meetings, Acevedo publicly shared the same story for days of a weapon or firearm being found before quickly changing the story.
And then very quickly, you hear one gunshot go off, and within almost a millisecond, you see the weapon, the semi-automatic weapon that he had in his Jordell had in his waistband go flying. And the fire on the right is an HK-USP, a pellet gun. And I can tell you that yesterday I was able to confirm with my team that he was actually carrying the firearm on the right, which is an exact replica of.
So why it took 8 days to make that jump from a gun to a pellet gun is still a question that Aurora Police will not answer. A lawyer representing Jordell's family tells me Acevedo is either, quote, misleading the public or hiding behind his own incompetence. Jordell's family is now demanding an apology and that Acevedo resign as the chief of the Aurora Police Department.
Yeah, we really would like to know when somebody first realized that it's a pellet gun. Presumably, they realized it the moment that they picked up and cleared that weapon at the scene, but that was a job likely done by the CERT team, the outside team investigating the shooting.
Yeah, that's a critical incident response team, and those are the people who usually investigate officer-involved shootings. So they take all the facts, all the information, and then come up with their plan of what exactly happened. That, of course, raises the question of whether or not Acevedo is the best person to be speaking with the family, speaking with the public, releasing information if he himself admits that he doesn't know all that information.
It's the kind of momentary confusion that you could understand happening in a situation like this, and that's where the benefit of the doubt comes into play. And as APD would acknowledge, they have vaporized the benefit of the doubt in the community over the last couple of years, so that's why questions exist. Mark, thank you for your work on this. The Colorado Republican Party says it has struck an unprecedented deal to keep Libertarian candidates out of potentially tight races. Some Republicans blame Libertarians for playing spoiler, siphoning off votes from GOP candidates and allowing Democrats to win in Colorado. Like the case of Dan Ward, you know, the death metal sound guy that we told you about. He got 3.9% of the vote in Colorado's new 8th congressional district last year. That was double the average of other Libertarian House candidates, and Democratic candidate Yadira Caraveo won that race by a single point. So the Colorado GOP says today that the deal is that Libertarians will not run candidates in races where Republicans put up strong pro-liberty candidates. So what does pro-liberty mean? It really depends on which libertarian you ask these days. The National Libertarian Platform used to support abortion rights as an individual liberty issue. That was taken out last year when a group of far right-wing libertarians took over the party. In fact, the Libertarian candidate for U.S. Senate in Colorado last year, he focused his campaign on opposition to abortion and support for traditional family values. Again, he's a libertarian running on essentially like a traditional conservative platform. Here's where the Republican-Libertarian pact in Colorado could make a difference. Congresswoman Lauren Boebert's race. Boebert won by 546 votes, or 0.07% last year. There was not a Libertarian in that race. If Republicans are hoping to keep a Libertarian out of Boebert's re-election in 2024, they should probably talk to the state Libertarian Party chair about whether she thinks Boebert is pro-liberty.
Is Lauren Boebert a strong liberty candidate? That is to be determined. I don't necessarily think that Lauren Boebert is a strong Republican, or she is a strong Republican. She's not a strong liberty candidate, in my opinion.
So a deal that does not protect the most targeted Republican incumbent in Colorado might not be much of a deal for the Colorado GOP at all. The bottom line on this, they did a big announcement on today, but it's not a legally binding agreement. It's just kind of a handshake, and one that the Colorado GOP is really eager to share with Republicans after they've suffered a string of losses and setbacks. We're going to watch to see how this actually plays out in 2024. The cool spring means that Xcel has not been vacuuming out your wallet monthly for heat or AC bills, though there were the Xcel customers that got alerted their electric bills would increase more than 300% compared to last year. The emails were a mistake, but Xcel left customers sweating that for nearly 2 weeks. Here's Marshall Zellinger.
With the Denver metro area looking less hot and dry and more Pacific Northwest, it seemed odd that Danny Ruth's electric bill would be projected to jump from $73 this time last June to $320 today.
When I got this email from Xcel that said my upcoming bill was in the $300 plus range, I felt really funny about that because my bills were trending downwards almost to the point of getting under $100.
Danny keeps a spreadsheet of his expenses, showing that $73 electric bill last June and an electric bill dropping since the start of the year.
Because I had been tracking things, it was quickly, immediately obvious to me something wasn't right. I don't know about other people, though, what they went through when they got the bill, what gyrations they went through.
People like Tim in Aurora, who thought it was a scam email when it said his bill was projected to go from $58 to $260. Josh in Denver got an email saying his bill was going from $82 last year to $338 today. Every email sent to us showed a bill growing more than 300%.
I tracked my monthly expenses for my gas, electric, Insurance is everything to keep a handle on my retired income, make sure I'm not overspending it.
And on Monday, almost 2 weeks after the initial emails, Excel sent out this update saying it was incorrect information. Please disregard. Excel went on to explain that the alerts are supposed to be sent when a bill is projected to be 30% higher compared to the same time last year. The reason for the emails was a, quote, miscalculation in the bill projection system used by our partner to create these alerts.
I'm appreciative that they apologized. At least that showed some accountability to me. I was happy for that. We all make mistakes.
So how many customers received this mistake? How many got that correction email? And who is Excel's partner and how did it miscalculate so poorly? All questions Excel declined to answer, with a spokeswoman saying, quote, we've already been communicating with our customers on this issue. I'm not trying to pick on Excel again. This is something viewers reached out to us about. We reached out to Excel. And last week, before they solved the issue, it seemed like I might get an answer. And then today it was, no, we've already communicated with customers about this.
I mean, certainly at this time of high scrutiny on high bills, people getting a note that says your bill's going to go up 3x. You'd expect scrutiny on that. Is anybody else going to look at this other than, say, like a pesky reporter?
No, I asked the Public Utilities Commission and the Attorney General's offices if this is similar like a data breach. Does Excel have any reporting requirement? And they do not. They can keep all the data to themselves, and I'm hopeful that maybe we could get a number, because if this was just a handful of people, I could understand, like, this isn't a story, 12 people got, but if tens of thousands of customers got this, that'd be important to know.
And we just don't know, because Excel's the keeper of the information, and they don't like you. Okay, Marshall, thank you. Congressman Ken Buck had already changed his position on the handling of classified documents. So when he changed it again today, that's better than a double buck flip. The Nuggets are world champions. That bandwagon is about to get real crowded. So just how big of a Nuggets fan are you? Next. At least one elected Republican in Colorado is scooching away from former President Donald Trump today as Trump's indicted for taking top secret documents and sharing them with select supporters. As Trump surrendered to U.S. Marshals in Miami, home to the runner-up NBA not quite champion at Miami Heat, Congressman Ken Buck of Colorado announced a change of heart in how he feels about Trump's handling classified documents.
I think the allegations are very serious. I think there were national security implications from having documents in an unsecure area. I think that the prosecutor really went into a lot of detail to explain to the American public why it was necessary to indict a former president.
Previously, Congressman Buck had made excuses for why Trump had classified documents hanging out at his house. That itself was actually a change in heart on the topic for Buck, because when Hillary Clinton was criticized over document handling, Buck was quite concerned.
The fact that he had documents in and of itself isn't a concern.
The problem that I hear here in Colorado is what was she hiding?
Buck's concern about the handling of classified documents extended from Clinton to President Biden, when Buck called it deeply concerning that the president's lawyers found classified documents in Biden's private office, even though they then turned them over to the government. So, as they say, for those of you scoring at home and for those of you who are alone, Buck went from concerned to not concerned, back to concerned, but then stayed concerned. It's like a double Buck flip with a twist, and the man stuck the landing. Degree of difficulty enormous, but he did it. Don't tell me not to live. Sit and putter. Life's candy, sun's a ball of butter. Danielle Grant, do not bring around a cloud to rain on my parade, or at least the parade that I intend to go to on Thursday.
How about just like a couple clouds? Are we cool with that?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay. All right, good. I think that we're going to be A-OK for Thursday. 10 a.m., that's when the step-off is out at Union Station, and hopefully our skies will remain mostly sunny. Maybe a couple of clouds in the afternoon. That's when it gets a bit dicey. How lovely is this? Just that little sliver of blue skies. We'll take what we can get after the storm system that has been parked across the eastern plains is slowly but surely moving out tonight. Still a good batch of showers, thunderstorms around Lamar, pushing off to the east and the urban corridor. Nice and dry. A wonderful change of pace. Tonight by about 11 o'clock, looking good here in the city. Everything clearing out overnight. There's that morning sunshine. And then by 2, 3 o'clock, couple of storms rolling off the foothills in Jeffco, Douglas County. And then by about 5 o'clock, maybe 1 or 2 here in Denver. They'll bubble up and then quickly charge off to the east. Tomorrow temperatures a lot warmer than than where we have been the past couple of days. Back to the mid to upper 70s we go. Some 80s off to the eastern plains, but still some 50s and 60s up in the mountains. So there it is. Some sunshine early for the big parade on Thursday. Temperatures in the upper 60s. And then look at this extended forecast. By Thursday afternoon, low 70s, but the thunderstorms stick around on Friday before a gorgeous weekend. 82 on Father's Day, and the heat rolls on next week.
Coloradans are rolling up their sleeves to prove that they are not fair weather Nuggets fans. And one man's 40-year commitment to the team is the most Colorado thing we saw today. It's a great backstory, and it's next. Guessing a good number of people this morning were going to great lengths to talk about just how long they've been a die-hard Nuggets fan. Let's face it, there are varying levels of commitment to any sports team, and you know what? They're all fine. From casual fandom clear up to this.
So did you watch the game?
Yeah, I did.
Of course you did. A certified tattoo, we're doing free Nuggets-inspired tattoo flash to celebrate the Nuggets championship win for the first time. I never imagined that the Nuggets would ever win.
I know, me neither. I was like super crazy.
My name is Ryan Risch, and I'm a tattoo artist at Certified Tattoo Studios.
My name is Millie, and I am here at Certified Tattoos getting my Nuggets tattoo, my free Nuggets tattoo. I like this one because it's kind of like the Nuggets, and it's kind of like Denver, you know? It's like...
Yeah. Kind of going back and forth, like trying to guess if they were going to win or not. I knew they were going to. I was even talking about it. Oh, we're definitely going to be doing all those tattoos just to see that it's finally happened for them and see that people are actually interested in getting these kind of tattoos. It's really cool for me.
Starting to hurt a little bit, but we're hanging in there. I became a Nuggets fan because of my man, but we did say if they win, we're going to get a tattoo together.
Here you are.
Yeah, here we are by myself, but he better do it after work.
To celebrate a championship win, that's just huge.
Ooh, cute.
Yeah.
Love it. It was so worth it.
To tattoo somebody that's from Denver, and I'm also from Denver, and to share that experience together was really awesome.
I definitely enjoy the tattoo itself. It's so beautiful. Love it. And I'm so proud of the Nuggets. Super proud of them.
A small but somewhat lasting commitment to the Nuggets might qualify as the most Colorado thing we saw today. Viewer named Greg Kincaid reached out to us with this photo today of his Nuggets shave kit. You're like, what in the world? That thing is vintage. Greg says he got it when the Nuggets hosted the NBA All-Star Game back in the early mid-'80s, swore that he would not replace it until the Nuggets were NBA champions. He says he's held on to this shave kit and his Nuggets fandom for 40 years, lived in Colorado for most of it. He's now even out of state, but he held on to the kit until they became champs. Told us he's off to replace it ASAP. If you see something that feels like Colorado to you, email it to us next at 9news.com. We finish with your feedback next. Two pieces of feedback related to our reporting involving law enforcement. Joe Ducey says that I mentioned the word scattering. When Denver police officers scattered at the sounds of shots last night. And Joe says the video clearly shows them assembling behind cover. You are absolutely 100% correct, Joe. That was a bad choice of words on my part. They moved in different directions, but they were moving to cover and then back out once they had assessed the situation. Martin writes about the situation with Aurora Police. Stop crucifying for police for not knowing it was a pellet gun, especially during the pursuit. Martin, nobody is criticizing them for that. The question is, once they learned it was a pellet gun, when did they tell the public and the boy's family?